Welcome to Boston, Massachusetts. This Boston trip started out with parking in the Boston Common Garage. This is located in downtown Boston, and it is the oldest city park in the United States. It dates back to 1634. Right across the street from Boston Commons is the Cheers bar, so I headed over there, and you can see the outside of the bar/restaurant here. Cheers, if you have never seen it, it was a show back in the 80s, I believe. It had 11 seasons. It won 77 awards, and it's a bar where everybody knows your name, right? So I was hoping to eat lunch here, but they were having some kitchen issues, so I was not able to. Next, I headed over to Fenway Park, home of the Boston Red Sox, and did the stadium tour here. The stadium is really unique. This is the oldest stadium in the major leagues, having been built in 1912. So I know that there has to be some old stadiums across the majors, but this is the one that is still standing, the original stadium. So this was really cool, and it felt almost like a minor league stadium in a way, like a little league stadium, because it's so different than all the other major league stadiums that I've, ever been to and experienced. It was so cool. Such a fun tour. I highly recommend, if you're ever in this area, if you like baseball, to check out Fenway Park. It's just one of those must-do things if you're a baseball fan. They have a couple of statues outside that I checked out beforehand, one being the great Ted Williams, which is the statue that you can kind of see in the distance there with him and the kid. But it was just such a great day, such a great tour. The tour guides were amazing, and so many interesting, unique things in there. And even though some of the inside has had to be redone, little bits and pieces, they have given everything that very vintage flair, so it feels like a super old stadium, even on the inside. Some of the things that have, had to have been redone. So while we were there, I guess you can rent out Fenway Park, which is really interesting. So there was a baseball team there playing, which was kind of fun to watch while we listened to all the facts about the park. One thing I thought was really cool was this little rooftop garden called Fenway Farms, and they actually take all of the vegetables that they grow here and use them in cooking that they give out there. This is me sitting on the Green Monster. These are the most coveted seats in all of MLB, and so at least I can say that I have sat on the Green Monster. There is one red seat here in the stadium, in the outfield, and it was because there was a man sitting here way back when, and he got hit in the head with a baseball one time, and so they changed that one seat to a red seat for him. And then they have some Babe Ruth baseballs and bats and gloves, so that was really cool to kind of take a peek at some of Babe Ruth's old stuff. Next, there's a couple of little random clips here of some of the fall foliage, and it was just beautiful driving in the greater kind of Boston area. And I, of course, ate my body weight in lobster rolls. So you'll see here in a second the lobster roll I got from a company called Boston Chowda. I said that correctly. It's CHOWDA, which was so good. And then I headed on to Salem, Massachusetts. I was so excited to go to Salem, you guys. Salem has been on my bucket list for a really long time, and I didn't think I was ever going to get to go. This is the House of Seven Gables, made famous by Nathaniel Hawthorne's book. And I headed over to the Salem witch trial kind of memorial. So they have this Charter Street cemetery that was just so beautiful. I had to get here really early in the morning because I had a flight and because of how busy it was and everything. So I didn't get to go in, but I walked around the witch trial the witch trial memorial, and just looked at the different kind of stones they had for each individual that was killed during this time period, which was just so sad. But this whole area was just so beautiful, and just a really nice, I think, dedication to those that were killed then. And then I spent a lot of time just walking the streets of Salem. Luckily, a lot of the things are very walkable. So I put kind of each address in the GPS, and I just walked. This is Allison's house in Hocus Pocus. This is called the Ropes Mansion. You can go in and tour it, but I didn't because I was, like I said, there for like 2 hours or so. This next part, this was outside of the greater Salem area, and when I was walking, those crows were crowing, and it just put me in such a spooky mood. But this is a little bit outside of where I just was, but this is the Max and Danny house from Hocus Pocus. So this is a residential house. Somebody does live here, so be respectful, and kind when you are going up to the house. But it was so cool to see this. And the streets were blocked off, so you couldn't drive up here, but there's a park right down the street. It's maybe a quarter of a mile, and so I just parked and I walked up to it. This was so cool to see, and it's right on the bay, I guess, there. So it was a beautiful little morning walk. But other than that, a lot of what you kind of want to see, the big stuff, is right in town there. So find a place to park, put something in your GPS, and just start going. Like I said, I was here super early in the morning, but they had vendors starting to set up with food and different things. I was here in October, and so it was just extra spooky and eventful. But oh my gosh, I loved every second of it. I wish that I would have been able to spend, more time here, doing the tours of things, going through all the shops, but I at least got to see, a good chunk of stuff. This is a Halloween lover's dream. So many spooky stores. The foliage was beautiful. Just everything up my alley. So I hope one day to be able to go back and really spend some more time here. But I left here feeling like a kid that just left Disney World. I was so stoked just strolling through all the shops, window shopping, and seeing the cool old buildings and the foliage, and people are dressed up in spooky things and in witch costumes, and anything that you can possibly think of you can find in Salem.